Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to semifinal number one. The casting couch, as it has been termed, is in full session as I'm joined by Spiff once again. And who do we got playing in our first match, Spiff? You got to let them know because they probably forgot already.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we didn't say it 5 minutes ago or anything.
Yeah.
Um, so coming up here, we've got Alphahex versus Maugan. Alphahex, of course, are one of our random players here, and Maugan playing as Aeon. It's gonna be a best of 7 series, I think.
Yep.
So lots of games coming up, and both players are gonna have plenty of chances to grab that win.
Yeah, and what I said earlier about a lot of these players don't really enjoy air maps, I think. And you can just see that from these picks and bans. Obviously, every single map had to be picked. It's just the order matters. So they've basically picked all the standard maps, all the land maps, and then the air maps are going to be basically our tiebreakers. So, which is very interesting. And it looks like, I will say that, I don't know, if Alphax is banking to play, you know, Cybran, but his picks are very Cybran centered. Of course, he is random, so it will be, a very interesting. How difficult do you think it's going to be for Alpha, playing random against a player such as Maugan who mains? He's basically Fox Jamelin, who mains, Aeon.
I don't think Alphahex gives a shit. I mean, if he did, he would have picked Aeon, right?
Yeah, I mean,
He might even be hoping to get Cybran, Although, again, if he wanted to play Cybran, he could have picked Cybran. Um, you know, I think that being skilled in all 3 races, first of all, is really important. Maybe a couple months back, I had a new player ask me to, give him a little coaching, and that was one of the things that I focused on. He said he really liked UEF. He only played UEF, and I said, okay, that's great. You can be a UEF player, but play all the factions so that you get to know the tech trees, and so that you can figure out what your opponent's doing, right? So, like, you see that he's got shields on his Aeon tanks. Well, he's taken the long way around to teleport. Stuff like that. So, first of all, it's really important to play all 3 races and to know them really well. But second of all, it's way easier to learn the different races in a game like Subcom as opposed to a game like StarCraft, where even the basic mechanics of production are different between the 3 different races in StarCraft.
mm-hmm.
Whereas Subcom, your factories are kind of set it and forget it. And so it's a lot easier to wrap your head around the basic mechanics of each race because they don't differ very much.
Absolutely. Well, I think a lot of these, or 2 of these players, as you know, in this tournament were random, and I think the reasoning was similar to kind of surprise their opponent, and so that your opponent doesn't go into the game with a certain game plan. But let's talk really quickly about each one of these players. I guess you talked about Alphahex a little bit. I'll mention about Alphahex is obviously a very consistent player who's very impressive, especially if you watch him play on his own channel. It's very impressive what the control and the finesse that this guy can do. And I think you can see that from, the intro video that I've had playing for you just now. So he hasn't played in a whole lot of events, but he's obviously had a very strong performance in each one. And, reaching at least the semifinals usually, or taking top 2, it's very impressive. And Maugan is no slouch. He's beaten every single one of these players at this tournament. And, sorry, every single player that we had at the top 8, I believe. I don't think he played against Osmos, but still, he can win. If anybody can beat Alphahex, it's certainly Maugan, especially as his Aeon faction. I know he has been preparing these maps, so it should be a very good game. For Alphahex, the random can be, a blessing or a curse. So we will just have to see how good what Alphahex pulls and how he executes. So, and you can never forget about nerves as well, because nerves, I'm 100% sure that at least 2 of the players that we had leave us yesterday were due to nerves. So it plays a huge factor in such a big tournament, especially in a drawn-out series, a best-out-of-7 series such as this. But Spiff, do you have anything to say about Maugan in particular?
Maugan has been a really strong player, also very consistent. I think that is, this is kind of like the battle of the two consistent players, I think. So when you have two players that are, pretty equal in skill and also, they know the game really well and they know what they can do to win. It's going to be real interesting. Maugan has shown us his chops over and over again, consistently finishing near the top, and I think he's won a few events as well, hasn't he?
Yes, he's won the Serpent's Open Winter, our very first tournament, and the League Season 1.
So yeah, we're just gearing up for some great games here. I can't really think of anything more to say. Let's get to it.
Yeah, definitely. So the last thing we'll do is our predictions. I know it's been flashing on the screen, but I think Maugan can, for personal reasons, which I'm not going to mention. These players both obviously have situations going on, but I think Maugan can edge out a win here. 4-2 is my prediction. Spiff.
I predicted it going 7 games and Alphahex edging out Maugan.
All right.
But again, keep in mind, I don't take these predictions too seriously. Anything can happen here,
And that's Spiff covering his ass. Lawyered. All right.
Also, the spirit of Mr. Steal Your Girl coming in here to admonish us that predictions are meaningless.
Hey, I appreciate you at least making a prediction and owning it. I think it's important. All right, so the community predicted a narrow win for Alphahex as well, 56-44 there. So without further ado, we're waiting for Alphahex, who just will not join the game that he's scheduled to play. He's instead trolling chat still. So we'll get that set up, and eventually we'll start this game. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 1 of our semifinal number 1. I am joined by Spiff, and notice I did not say Mr. this time. So Spiff, please introduce our players.
All right, starting over here on the right side and spawning in as the Red Aeon Commander, we have Maugan dropping down a very fast air factory. We did see some air openings on this map yesterday. And led to some interesting games. So we'll see what comes of that. Over here on the left-hand side, we have spawning in as the Brown Cybern Commander, Alphahex, who drops down a very fast research station and is going into 2 factories and filling in his eco. And I'm wondering if maybe we're going to see a version of the build that drove everyone into a tizzy last tournament. We all had to go in and play test it to make sure it was a legit build, that super fast 1 research mega rush.
That's definitely a possibility. I didn't think about it. I was actually, the whole time you were introducing the players and I saw what their factions were, I was like, this is already screaming like metagame stuff. And look at that, Maugan just responding with a research station after seeing Alphahex's research station. But this is like a replay of obviously yesterday's match between Iron Commander and Maugan, which Alphahex I'm sure saw. So I think he knows. I think Maugan was going to open up the same thing against Cybern. So I think Alphahex probably knew that, and I think a research station against Maugan's tactic, which he plays, I think is a little better. But I think you're absolutely right. We might see that variation of that Megalith build come to fruition here for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely if it is a version of that, it's going to be a more eco-focused version, because I believe that mega build was an 8 mechs build.
Yeah. Didn't he throw down 2 research stations for that?
No, it was a 1 research build.
It was a 1 research and he still couldn't expand off of it? Wasn't it a 1 research, one factory?
No, it wasn't that he couldn't expand, it was that it was on QAI Labs and there's only so many mass extractors you can get.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. But I did see him do it in some of the other replays I've casted. He did it on
Yeah.
Wismap as well. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
that's
it can be really effective on open palms and really just about any map where the terrain allows for it.
this is of course a replay of their famous match here from League Season 1, where I believe it went to like 30 or maybe even 40 minutes, and it was a very, very close and interesting match, as Maugan Raw's matches a lot of times are. It's it's always interesting to watch these two play. And it looks like we already have Brackman coming out, so Alphahex definitely playing for that longer game. And it's going to be very interesting to see what Maganroy decides to do. It looks like his commander is stuck here a little bit, but it looks like he's plopping down 3 quick land factories to follow this up. And there's an idle engineer, but I would probably prioritize expanding, since Alphahex is taking this very, very defensive stance. And I would try to get as much economy as I could. What do you think about that, Spiff?
Well, I think that with the air opening, capitalizing on the greater freedom around the map to expand more is, I mean, that's why you go air. Like
Yeah,
Alpha Hex is
absolutely.
kind of penned in here. He can't really send his engineers out because they'll get bombed. So he needs to either expand his anti-air coverage or get into adapters or go into air himself before he can really expand a whole lot.
Yeah, so what's his game? What do you think he's doing here? Because he's not expanding. He's not really plopping down any more factories. He's getting a bunch of Brackmen, but his engineers are both very central to his base. Okay, all
Well,
right.
there you go. Yeah, I was about to say he's obviously teching. Like, what else is he going to be doing?
Okay, so
And just based on like the number of energy generators that he built here, actually, I think this is one, maybe 2 fewer energy generators.
is Maganroy
No,
going to
1 fewer
scout
energy.
this?
It does. Well, maybe. I mean, he's
Maganroy, I think, is going to. No, he's not
no.
quite. Oh, okay. So how do you respond as in this situation as an Aeon if you see a Megalith coming your way this early in the game?
I don't know. He's
Well,
got all of his factories, but he's going for another research stage. Maybe that's the answer. Just tech to teleport as quickly as you can. Because the Cybrans dumped all of their research into getting that mega super fast, and it's going to be a while before they can get unit detonate. So maybe just a race to teleport is the thing to do.
there's shield already on these tanks, and Alphahex probably realizes this, and that Maganrai is taking to teleport, and he doesn't want him to get any additional research points. Maganrai is going to scout this megalith, so let's see what the response is. I wouldn't actually be surprised to see him go shield generators like he likes to against megaliths, especially a megalith that's this early. And if this push gets shut down, I think Maganrai is in great shape here. And I think Maganrai is in good shape here. He's expanded so much. He already has 4 land factories. Especially if he gets teleport. Oh, but there might be Unit Dedo. Unit Dedo might screw everything up for.
It depends on how
Maganrai.
quickly he gets to teleport. I just based on my rough feeling of it, I think he can get to teleport before unit detonate. Well, maybe not though.
Well, let's calculate it this way. So Megalith is 12 research points, right?
Right.
And Alphahex unlocked it in about 5 minutes. To
And
unit Dedo, it's I think 2, 1, and 6. So I think 9, maybe 10. So he needs at least another 10-ish minutes, assuming he's not killing too much. So I think as he's pushing in here, as he's going to get there at about the 10-9 minute mark, he is going to probably have it if he wants it.
he'll be close at least.
Actually, no, he'll definitely have it because you start with 5 research points at the start. No, he won't have it because you start with 5 research points. God, I can't do math today. But anyway, this push is coming in strong. There's shields going down on Maganrod's factories. There's already 4 of these factories, and he's just going to let Alphahex come here. There's absolutely no need to push out here. Absolutely no need. In fact, it would be a pretty big mistake if he did. And yes, I would actually switch back into air Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough time to really get enough air, but his opponent has virtually no anti-air here. This Megalith is the only thing that fires, but it's very, very inefficient here.
And he's throwing down a point defense instead of an air tower. I don't know how I feel about that.
That might be a mistake, but it might be against teleport. Yeah, I think he's trying to protect against teleport. Maybe unit deado, or sorry, maybe structure deado is what he's going for. That's actually better.
There's the air tower. There's the air tower.
I'm not sure what Maugan is doing. His ACU is in the open. Come on, Maugan.
I mean, it's not in too much danger as long as he starts retreating soon.
Oh, maybe he's actually baiting this target fire instead of on the factories. And you know, I really, really suspect that the reason why Alphahex is doing this is for structure deado protection. Everything for Maugan goes down in terms of air here. There will be no air forces. Looks like there's engineers coming in big quantities here, and those tanks are going to try and engage. Yep, teleport coming out. Nicely done. Needs to keep moving. Unit, oh, structure detonate. I really think, yep.
Oh, wow.
That's a good game plan by Alphahex, but that hurts for Maugan there. That is a great play, and he should have seen it coming a mile away. Honestly, I don't know why you would teleport so closely to the point defense there. Second Megalith coming out, and unfortunately, this is looking pretty rough for our red Aeon commander. And all Alphahex really needs here is unit detonate to complete that. And
why are we getting only engineers popping out of the air factory? Is that a mistake, or is he planning on some sacrifice captures?
No, I think maybe to aid. Oh wait, no, actually, yeah, I do think that's probably a mistake. It's probably a repeat. Yeah, there's not enough units here for Maugan. That mistake, teleporting on top of the point defense, should not have happened. Maybe, wait, can you sack cap a Megalith? I don't think you can, an experimental, right?
I was just wondering that.
But I don't see a reason why those Brackmen would allow that to happen, though, so.
Well, yeah, he's turned off the factory now, so I'm pretty sure that was a mistake.
This is a done game. Maugan does not have enough units here, and he just loses all his tanks.
Second Megalith coming up, yeah. This is a really powerful build.
It's a powerful build, but I think Maugan could have done a little bit better against it. But yeah, it was a good strategy by Alphahex to employ here, I think.
Yeah, I think here's the problem with Maugan's response to that. He kept expanding his economy and expanding his economy. And yes, mass extractors are a lot cheaper than they used to be, but that still adds up when you're investing into mass extractor after mass extractor, and the returns don't come back as quickly as the investment goes out in the mid game. So I think the proper response to something like that is to build like 3 more mass extractors, 2 or 3 more mass extractors than your opponent, and then outproduce them from there until they start expanding again. If you see them stop expanding, you know an all-in is coming. You know, again, it works kind of similar to StarCraft in that sense, but in Subcom, because the mass extractors rank up over time, even though you've only got that one clump of mass extractors, you're still getting more and more mass. And even just on that 8 mechs build, you can get a lot of megas.
Yeah, that's actually a good analysis there, Spiff. I think, yeah, a little bit too much on the expansion, if there is such a thing. But it was a very obvious all-in build by Alphahex. I mean, there was absolutely no expansion in anywhere. So absolutely agree with you. I think there needed to be more units. And I would even sprinkle in... I mean, I don't think he expected the point defense play with the structure detonate, but I think it's a very, you know, obvious, not unobvious, how do you say it? It's a very good real possibility. So Maugan should have definitely, at the very least, not teleported on top of it, and at the second, he probably should have gotten some mobile missile launchers. So, but anyhow, that's game 1. We are a long way from finishing this series. We're going to go to open palms here in just a moment. That can yield pretty much any result, so I'm looking forward to it. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of this semifinal match. I'm joining Nite of Misfortune to bring you this game here on Open Palms. And, Nite, what's going on the field here?
All right, on the field, the map is Open Palms, the most classic matchup we can have. No, it's not Cybern, just kidding. All right, so it's Maugan in the top corner of the map, spawning as our red Aeon commander, and his opponent on the bottom, it is our brown UEF commander this time, with the name of Alphahex, the man who pulled out the Megalith cheese in Game 1. And it looks like both of these players are starting with land factories. And, it does have to go to say that, Maugan probably didn't practice against UEF as much, but Aeon is probably a little more favored on this map, but of course Open Palms is very, very, equally matched. It'll be interesting. It's a crucial map for both of these players to win, I think. So because each one, despite it being Alphahex's pick, despite that, I mean, it's anybody's take here.
So, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's Open Palms.
Yeah.
Why are all the trees pines? Shouldn't it be Open Pines?
We talked about this, and I even tried starting a campaign to rename it Open Ferns, but nobody really caught on to that. So
well, see, that's your problem right there. Nobody cares about ferns, but pines.
Okay, so Open Pines.
Open Pines.
There we go. I like that. I actually really, really like that. All right. Well, what's going on in this game, Spiff? What are the?
Real similar so far. Both players did open with 2 land factories, and there's a little bit of play around the center here. That's just an engineer, though. Nice little bait, I think.
I think it's a radar scout, most likely.
Yeah, pretty much. We haven't seen Alphahex go for a 3rd factory yet, though, which is a little curious. He's dumping pretty hard into the eco. He should have enough for a 3rd factory, though.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to expand. And oh my god, it's his favorite unit, Spiff.
Of course. What else were we gonna see?
Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do as UEF, right? All right. Well, Maugan is doing okay with his expansion. Are they equal on expansions? No, I think Alphahex is 1 mass extractor up right now. Looks like there is mobile missile launchers making their way over here. Those tanks really need to be intercepted, though. Maugan, move your engineer, please. Yes, thank you. And a 3rd land factory for Alphahex. All right, so pretty standard so far. I mean, you can't really cheese as a UEF player if you're opening up land, at least. You can absolutely do so if you're opening up air. But I feel like, I don't know, on Open Palms against an Aeon, air might not be the best choice. But I mean, gunship snipes are always like a possibility.
Yeah, it could work. It's just harder.
And I think that's why Maugan was pushing with that engineer so far up, honestly, is because he wanted to see if there was air on the field already.
Maugan's put a shield on that forward factory. Seems a little premature to me, but maybe he knows something I don't.
All right, I like this tank scout because up until this point, Maugan did not know what's coming his way. Now he knows it is shields. There's 2 bada booms already on the field. I'm not sure you need 2 bada booms at this time, but it also reveals your tech pattern. But I mean, what else are you gonna do as a freaking player against UEF and Open Palms? Like, yeah, this is what I would do.
Yeah. P-shields versus teleport is pretty much the meta at this point, seems like.
Yeah, let's see if Maugan manages to squeeze out a point defense here. It would definitely help, especially because there is only 1... No, finish that. There's only 1 mobile missile launcher at this point for Alphahex here. No, 2.
Oh, there's 2.
Yeah, there's 2. JK. Man, it would be so interesting to see this game play out if like anti-missile units were just a little bit better, because a lot of the play in these land-to-land blobs is, especially with UEF, is these shields, and obviously the counter to that is mobile missile launchers. So it would be interesting to see if the mobile missile launchers could be countered, how that would impact the game. Looks like Maugan wants to press this. I don't disagree because he's taking MML fire to that PD he just built. But Alphahex is expanding quite a bit now, so... And Maugan's engineer is not really doing anything in the back pocket anymore.
I'm surprised Alphahex hasn't started popping out demolishers.
Yeah, well, yesterday you remember our games with Hope. I think you played as UEF twice and did not go demolishers either game. Well, actually he
That's
did,
true.
but it was a very late transition. Let's see if Maugan can pick off these meteors here. Wow, those shields. Jesus, mother.
Didn't know you were a religious man.
Well, I think I wouldn't be saying that if I was. So strong on those shields. Alphahex building a energy generator there to draw some fire from the units. Oh no! Maugan
Out of position now, but I think he's going to get away.
Yeah, he's going to be okay here. You can't really push as a UEF with this many P shields, but he definitely has to retreat now, and that's going to open up his forward structures to those mobile missile launchers. Maugan's going to... Oh boy. This is starting to get pretty rough for our Aeon commander here. Oh, no, but the shields are down. Maugan catches a few units here, but just not losing enough. I think Shajas are needed here, or more mobile missile launchers.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough spot just because of the choke point. Can't really get around and pick off the fighting units. When those shields are retreating, they stay in the back.
Yeah, and those P shields are just so absurdly strong. And again, Maugan chooses to go with the research stations there in the back. Engagement here in the center. P shields are down, but the unfortunate thing is there's 2 PDs for Alphahex now.
You know, I don't mind those research stations at this particular moment in the game, just because Maugan was already ahead on factories.
Yes, but again, he's building so many factories now that his late game on open palms, it's so important to keep a steady rate of expansion, and that factory goes down. Oh man.
That's really painful.
Yeah, this is not looking good. Even if he manages to hold, again, that's my concern here, is even if he holds, he's falling behind en masse. And now there's demolishers that are gonna connect here. Oh man. Alright, well, doing a good job microing around the demolisher fire so far. He's picking off a couple of units, but again, I'm just so nervous about this. Looks like he's trying to get to teleport here as quickly as possible. That's going to be the game plan from Maugan. And what do you do then? Do you just teleport on top of this army? But there's demolishers now.
I would probably break off a small chunk and teleport them around to start harassing the sides and draw attention away from the front.
All right, not bad engagements from Maugan. Yeah, he's dodging the fire pretty good, using that S command also. Pretty good there, control. Ground fire from Alphahex also is doing a good job, kind of zoning and... No, but most of his shots are actually not. He loses a mass extractor, and it's just so painful.
No, honestly, I'm not terribly offended by that, just because he needs more space away from this choke point. So, not rebuilding that factory and those point defenses up front and that mass extractor and just kind of giving them up. I mean, it sucks. You want to save as many buildings as you can, but I think that positionally that was the right move.
I mean, I agree with that particular part, but what I'm concerned about is, again, I don't think Maugan is just going to push this army back. Is if he's gonna play the late game, he's falling behind on mass now.
We do see him building a whole bunch of energy generators in the back, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clearly teleport, but again, I
Right.
also am hesitant about teleporting on top of this army, or really teleporting anywhere near that army, because of those demolisher shots. Another factory goes
Ooh.
down here.
Yeah, P Shield's OP.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Oh. Ooh. That's one way to dodge artillery.
Yeah, but now they're just going to shoot again, and he teleports on top of point defenses too, so... He loses both those forward land factories. That is so rough. Just two? What the hell?
Scouts trying to find these. Oh, not enough energy, I bet.
What was that? Oh my goodness. That's unfortunate. Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. There's not going to be a snipe in this case, and yeah, it's so hard to play like this, I think, as Aeon. You have to keep expanding. It's very, very interesting to see Aeon go down like that. I think definitely could have done a little bit more with that game, but it's not over. Alphahex takes a 2-0 lead here in the semifinal. We're going to go to, I believe, Desolation next. And let's see if Maugan can pull back a little bit of the disadvantage that he has put himself into. In Game 3, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game number 3 on Desolation. Spiff, please introduce our players.
All right, starting over here on the left-hand side, spawning in as our brown UEF commander, we have Alphahex, going for that classic 2-land factory build that we've seen him use on this map before.
Did you say he's UEF?
Did I? Cybran. Yeah. He's Cybran. He is Cybran. He's a Cybran commander. Cybran. Let's just confirm. Hold on, I'm looking again. Yep, he's Cybran. And then on the other side of the map, spawning in as the, I think this is the orange UEF commander here. No. It's the red Aeon commander. We have Maugan, also starting off with 2 land factories.
You know, the hue of this map is making it more of a supple maroon.
Yeah.
But anyway, your fuck up is not as big as mine last game, so let's just say that. Oh man. All right.
For those not in the know, we had a funny moment behind the scenes.
I'm sure it will be memed.
That I'm never going to let Nite live down.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be memed in all the Discord channels, because I'm sure every single player took a screenshot of that.
Alphahex definitely will make a meme out of it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right, but we are safe from the Alphahex transport build on this map, obviously because it's Cybran. I think Maugan is a little lucky that Alphahex pulled this right now, but it will be interesting to see what exactly he does. Usually I see Maugan play with Shajas on this map, but so far obviously that is not the case. There's no MMLs either, and I think I'm beginning to just question Maugan choices not to go more MMLs in any of these 3 games that we've had today. So I think each one of those games needed mobile missile launchers, or at least more of them. Game 1 had no mobile missile launchers. This game also just does not have them. Doing a good job here already, sending a few tanks to cover the flanking position here. So I think Maugan should be okay here.
That's a lot of bots coming in, though.
That's yeah, almost a double turd. It's like he had Taco Bell or something.
Oh god, Taco Bell. I can't eat it like I could when I was younger.
It's seven loyalists versus 6 tanks.
Well, 6 tanks now, yeah. But still, 7 loyalists, 6 tanks. I think the loyalists could win with good micro.
Yeah, properly micro, but the mass extractor is going to draw some fire. But of course, that's what really Alphahex really wants here, is to just get that fire or get that mass advantage here. That's what you got to do against Aeon, and he might win here. Maugan really needs to micro here.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
no,
Yeah, some real good micro.
I think ultimately the tanks will be okay here. Yeah, tanks will be fine.
But still, those bots did plenty.
Yeah, those bots did
That's
plenty. Taking
that was a
out
fine trade.
3 tanks, yeah, 3 tanks and a mass extractor for 6 bots. I'll say that's a win. Yeah, doing a nice job here. Maugan is gonna rebuild that mass extractor and also gonna reclaim all that yummy mass. And we have Cobras being teched by Alphahex, so that's probably to be expected. And a lot of Brackman coming out again. Well, not again. I don't know why. Well, yeah, game 1 had a lot of Brackman, so I'm safe. I'm good.
Yeah, pretty even on eco. Like really, quite a mirrored game so far. These tanks now swinging around the south side to maybe cut off more expansion for Alphahex.
Yeah, in terms of expansions, it ends up pretty mirrored, I feel like, on Desolation, no matter what the factions are. Unless Alphahex goes his transport build, in which case it's just over really quickly.
Well, it's really all about these 3 mass extractors in the far south, west, and northeast.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the mass extractors are relatively close to the main base and they're a lot easier to grab. But as we're seeing here, by the time you get down to those more distant ones, they can have units there.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, if you see Cobras, Biff, how do you feel about plopping down point defenses? I mean, point defenses are strong, but I feel like in these cases, like, it's so hard to counteract. It's like a waste of mass almost, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe like I think that they could be useful if you put them behind a factory where they're a little bit harder to get to. But still, yeah, I don't know.
Alphahex is not noticing these 3 tanks.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah, especially if Maugan realizes there's a engineer going down north. Or sorry, south. God, I can't get my directions right.
Well, we're not giving you the map and asking you to navigate on the road trip.
In my defense, in Russian, north sounds like south. So that's why I always get confused, and I say south sometimes.
Interesting.
Okay, it doesn't sound like south. It starts with an S. But still, you know.
Okay, so Alpha's engineer has bypassed all of these mass points and is just going straight into the back of Maugan's base. Meanwhile, Maugan's engineer is stopping to fill in all the mass points along the way.
Yeah, but that engineer, if captures even a single mass extractor, then that's pretty worth it. And Maugan is still not realizing this, I don't think.
You know, I just thought, I've never investigated this before. If you capture someone else's mass extractor, do you get all of the veterancy that it's gained along with it?
I would imagine so. I don't think they would just drop the health on a mass extractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. All right, this is actually looking very good for the Aeon here for this engagement. Yeah, Maugan is going to push here, especially with those Brackman fire being drawn on the building. It's a good engagement.
Yeah, that factory shield has gone down though, and or was there a shield on? Yeah, there is a shield on it.
Man, that engineer is still unnoticed. Oh my god, is this just going to be a repeat of Iron Commander versus Alphahex, except Alphahex is now going to be delivering the absolute ridiculous pain? God, Maugan still hasn't realized. Luckily for him, Alphahex is not looking down there right now.
Yeah, those 3 tanks did eventually get defeated.
We'll keep an eye out on that. Yeah, if I was Maugan, I would be engaging a little bit more here.
He's got a fair number of shotjas in this army, though, so he doesn't necessarily want to
he's not microing the best here, I will say. I mean, he's not splitting his units. He's taking Brackman fire as well. Those Shajas are not firing as much as they should be. What the fuck? What was that? Why did he control K there?
I don't know. I guess he felt he was not just in a bad situation.
Did he notice the engineer or something? And that's why?
That might be it.
But he could have won the fight in the center. Oh my goodness. All right, that's game 3, everybody. We're going to go to game 4. Maugan unfortunately falling down 3-0 here. We'll be right back in just a second.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 4 of the semifinal series. We're here on Shiva Prime and Night of Misfortune. What's going on down on the field there?
Down on the field, there's a bunch of air factories going down. In the top of the map, we have our brown Cybern Commander with the name of Alphahex. And on the bottom, we have Maugan Ra in his red Aeon personification, dropping down to air factories as well. So
I would just like to point out a nice little bit of micro that Alphahex did there. He started one of the factories with his ACU and another one with his engineer. And then when the ACU finished the first factory, the engineer was still building. Took that engineer, went and built a mass extractor, finished this other air factory with his ACU.
Yep.
Nice little bit of micro. Gets those planes out just a bit faster, which, I mean, Cybern Air, you're going to need more planes.
Oh man, I feel like if this scout gets taken out, we might see another Rager. Yeah, it needs to pull back that plane. Okay. It's a lot of airplanes out for Alphahex already. Yeah, gonna send. Yeah, this is gonna be a quick game. It's all gonna be decided by who wins this air engagement. Is Maugan Ra pausing his? Okay, well Maugan Ra has more units now, air units, and again look at Alphahex sending in one for bait. Oh nope, Alphahex decides to pull out. Okay, so this is even, so maybe it won't be decided quickly. But I feel like on this map, this situation favors Cybern a little bit more. What do you think?
I don't know. At this point, Maugan Ra's got his commander pushed further up into the center, so he might be able to grab more space and get the mass advantage.
Yeah, that is true. Let's see how these players are expanding. Looks like Maugan Ra is again behind on the expansion.
We haven't seen any research stations from Alphahex. I wonder if he went build cost, build time for structures.
Did he
No, I don't
forget
think he
energy?
did.
I feel like Maugan Ra forgot energy. That's why he's pausing his factories.
He's got one energy generator. He's got a second one going down.
I don't know if he's being sarcastic or...
I missed it. What did he say?
He said, nice map, Nite.
Huh.
It is a nice map. Thank you, Alphahex. I like it. That's why it's in here.
It's very anatomical.
Yes. Very. You're the one that went into air. Usually it doesn't go into air, this map.
Well, it's like Pig always says, the StarCraft commentator. Always prioritize bad manners over proper macro.
He says that? Oh
no,
man, this is...
No, he says the opposite.
This is a very bad engagement for Maugan Ra.
Yeah, oof.
He's also down on planes somehow, because he paused the factories. Yeah, that's rough. Man, this has been like so one-sided, unfortunately. And like I don't know if it's nerves for Maugan Ra or what, but it's just so...
I'd be nervous playing Alphahex too.
Yeah, but
Even if there was nothing on the line.
yeah, but I mean, he's beaten him before. There's gonna be a capture on that factory, probably. Oh my god, point defense pushing a freaking Aeon. Well, Maugan is not giving up. Those air factories are still paused. They should be building anti-air or something. I feel like he just... I just really honestly feel like Maugan gave up Desolatia way sooner than he needed to. He wasn't looking bad in that game either. Oh my god. But
Well,
such
so much for those MMLs.
Yeah, it's such a solid play from Alpha. Like, insanely good. And it's done. Yep, it's over. Alphahex is going to be our first finalist, ladies and gentlemen, taking out Maugan 4-0. An absolutely ridiculous result that I would have never suspected. Maybe everything else that we've seen in this tournament is explainable by something, but this is, I think, in my opinion, was just an absolute ridiculous and such a strong performance by Alphahex. Nevertheless, congratulations to Alpha. Does such a great job in this semifinal. And we're going to be moving on to the next one between Vanity and Osmos. We'll see which Aeon is the best in that matchup. I'm not sure when that's going to be happening because we have 2 hours still left. We might actually move up our timetable a bit. I don't know. We'll discuss and see. But stay tuned. Stay tuned to the channel, and we'll let you know. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this very quick semifinal, unfortunately, and we'll see you very, very shortly.